favorite tools to use when I'm creating lessons is the Curry-Samara model. And I don't fill out every box. I start with a plan with my content, and in this case I'm using the example for rational numbers in a math lesson, and then I'm looking over the top for the basic levels of thinking, the knowledge, comprehension, application, and then more abstract, the analysis, creative thinking, and then critical thinking. And on the left are the goals, the standards that I'm working towards, and even extended, making connections across. And what I do is at the bottom, there are thinking skill operations, which basically they're verbs. So you're thinking about these verbs in different ways that are going to engage at a higher level as you go to the right. So where I would like to start is making sure they comprehend. Can they explain them? Can they clarify? Can they apply them? Can they organize them or summarize them? And then compare and contrast or isolate, speculate, generate some hypotheses, see what's going on, and then judge, conclude, or interpret. So that is going towards the far right, and then as you go down, you extend their level of depth of learning. So in this case, I love that the introductions to rational numbers, this teacher is asking, justify why specific properties are used with the specific equations and demonstrate understanding through a graphic organizer. Or the error analysis. To me, this is a great one with math. Find and correct the integer operation mistake that she has given them or that another person in their class, a peer, has given, and explain why. And we all know if we explain something to someone else or even to ourselves why something was wrong in a flow chart, then we really start understanding it. So in using the verbs and in using for me to start going towards analysis, creative thinking, and critical thinking, once that I know that they understand the basics, that really helps. Another one here is a poetry unit. And the factual, the basic literary terms, this I believe was a 6th grade unit. And then discuss the effectiveness of student literary devices in a student-generated poem using peer edits for the evaluation. Or evaluate modern poems using our rubric. What would you do to change those? What words would you might use that is different now? Pretend you are the next U.S. president. And you're going to evaluate and select the next poet laureate. Who would capture today's issues? Why would you choose that person? And who would it be? So an essay or a speech. So it's just when you start getting into using those verbs in a different way, to me it allows my brain to just be more thinking outside the bubble and giving some different ways to take something that might be kind of an overwhelming topic to some and break it down. And two, it's going to find much more engagement when you can do different things or allow some student choice. There is one in here that I saw that I really liked. Here it is, analysis. Discover your favorite contemporary poet. Teach about your poet through a brochure or a PowerPoint. I would add, then explain. Why is that your favorite poet? What did they do to help you become more engaged? So this one, connect yourself to poetry. Discover 3 famous poets and poems that resonate with you, and then write your response to them in poetic form. So whatever you're teaching, just using these simple verbs and getting your Bloom's taxonomy or depth of learning going in more depth, if I can get that out. And then here's one, where did it go, with civil rights. Summarize the accomplishments. Well, that's an easy one. Let's get a little farther. Interpret as I have a dream. Shorten it to 1 paragraph in common knowledge. Well, they really have to understand what's important there. Decide which of the events of the modern civil rights movement had the smallest impact on the overall outcome. Imagine Martin Luther King was never assassinated. Would his importance and impact, how would it have changed? What's your essay on this? So in just thinking about an imagine or a compare and contrast using those verbs, I think we can all kind of go outside our thinking box and add some really fun, engaging ways to really make students think. So this is just your basic Curie Samara.